Welcome to Stardust Stereo. I'm Parker McPhinney. I'm your host. Today is the hottest day of the year. I'm not kidding. Today is September 8th, year 2024, and it's a scorcher. Today I'm going to talk about Mercury re-entering Virgo, which it will do so tonight, just a few minutes before midnight Pacific Daylight Time. And what will happen with this Mercury moving back into Virgo, because remember we just went through 3 weeks of a retrograde period, and that period began with Mercury in this earth sign, and then it went retrograde and went into the fire sign of Leo, and now it is re-entering Virgo, and it's already in direct motion. It's been in direct motion, thank goodness, approximately 11 days. So we're ready to just get on with it. We're still in the shadow, and we will move past that shadow point on September 11th. And that shadow point was 4 degrees Virgo. So as we move through the 30 degrees, you have an opportunity to clean, organize, perfect any systems in your life, including your digestive system. Virgo is known for being very particular about diet and being health conscious. So this is an excellent time to take stock of all the areas of your life that are in semi-chaos, total chaos, moderate chaos, and get them orderly. Virgo deals with compartmentizing, and so it's also a very favorable time which you can clean out one drawer or one room or one area of your life, say your closet, organize it, color code it, or if it's your file cabinet, or if you're catching up on paperwork, you can decide for yourself and just systematically set yourself a goal. You will have until the 26th of September. At that time, Mercury will move into that love sign of Libra. So now is the period in which you want to get yourself in tip-top shape so that you can date, be more appealing to your partner, attract partners, or just feel more balanced within your own life. Now we have some interesting aspects on particular dates that I want to make you privy to. Get your pen and paper or your computer and make notes, or yellow stickies and put them on your calendar. On the 11th of September, Mercury will sextile Mars. That is a great exercise aspect. It's a time when you can really excel at hand and mind coordination, things that exercises or programs that require a little bit of strategic thinking along with the moves that you do. You know, some exercise like running, you don't really have to think too much. You just have to make sure you don't trip. But other forms of exercise really do require a finer level of coordination. This is also a time in which you can come to the table with anybody that you've had disagreements with and really bring out a compromise that both parties are exceedingly happy with. On the 18th of September, Mercury will oppose Saturn. That will require a little bit more balancing to make everybody happy in any agreements that are shortchanged right now. There'll be much more weighing of pros and cons. That's also a time period, and it doesn't have to be exactly on that day. It can be a few days before, a few days after. Teeth cleaning. The teeth are ruled by Saturn. Mercury in opposition to it. Get that plaque off. This is also a period around that 18th of September date to reevaluate your thinking patterns and what grooves you have that are not to your advantage to continue to repeat ad nauseum. So if you have particular messages that you tell yourself that are not of a positive nature, you want to let them go. Anytime we deal with an opposition, it's shedding a light and balancing both pros and cons and seeing where the area that is in a negative nature can move over to the positive nature, and we get rid of the excess. Mercury opposed Saturn does more with less words. That's also a really great study aspect. So if you have a difficult task that you need to read up on or rehearse before you do a final presentation that week, starting with the 18th, a few days before, a few days after, you've got the stars on your side. Then on the 21st, Mercury will square Jupiter. This is always known to voicing your opinion to a crowd that does not want to hear it. So you might try out learning when to shut up and when to speak up, because sometimes the timing of those two elements is crucial. And especially on the 21st, that Mercury square Jupiter blows up anything. So very often when we're dealing with the mental planet Mercury, which deals with our mind, speaking, our hands, how we think in our process in the brain, when Mercury's square Jupiter, we overdo, we overreach, we have maybe a little bit too much confidence and need to be a little bit more humble. So if you can pull back or leave room to pull back, if you were thinking in terms of if you're a sculptor, you could maybe shave off a little bit, but not shave it to the point that it's a skeleton, and leave room for evaluation a few days after the 21st, because you may be thinking you've just got it all right and it's perfect, and then you find the errors a few days later. This is also a great time in which you have excess mental energy. So if you do need that reserve to get a hard job done that you've started earlier in the week, this will help you. This particular aspect can be brutal if you're on a diet, because the mind sees and wants more. Remember, Jupiter is always about bigger, better, more. But when it's a square, which this particular transit is, Mercury square Jupiter, the estimation of what is needed is off. Then on the 24th, Mercury will trine Uranus. They're both in the elements of Earth. Mercury in Virgo, Uranus in Taurus. That's a lovely, brilliant, flowing, great light bulb idea week. So right after the 21st, just a few days later on the 24th, you have a chance to really speed forward, or maybe not speed forward. We don't want any tickets here. Systematically etch out your plan to great approval. This will also be a time when your intuition will be favored, And this is dealing with areas in which you're trying to pin down any solutions to unusual problems that you may have had, especially if they're related to the computer. Uranus deals with computers, unexpected events, our ingenuousness, friends. Mercury trine Uranus can introduce a period in which you meet new friends, and the glue that draws you together could be that you're both working on improving your body through fitness. Could be meeting new people in a gym that you join or a yoga class, and it being a really lovely relationship tie. This Mercury trine Uranus brings a lot of like-minded people together. So often when we're in a group setting and we're striving for a goal, under this particular transit, we can find ourselves especially comfortable because everybody in the room is reaching for a similar goal. And so we have an automatic support system. Mercury rules our nervous system. And so while it is in Virgo, you might consider what foods and what things that you put into your body help to keep you calm, but also don't wear your body down. Very often people will utilize alcohol or other mind-altering substances to calm themselves down. While Mercury is in Virgo, that's an excellent time to do research into Ayurvedic healing modalities. I'm a big believer in Ayurvedic medicine. Ayurvedic is an ancient system of wholeness and well-being. It takes in the entire body, not just the foods, but how your attitude during the day, your attitude in your entire life, your philosophy, the physical needs of the body. And so exploring the ways and the foods and the environment, getting out in nature often can help our mood so much. So when that period comes up with Mercury trine Uranus on the 24th, that is an excellent time to do lots of exploring of ways in which you can become the best that you want to be. Mercury in Virgo is also like a map making position. So you don't have to be limited into one particular area. You can try many avenues. This placement, as it goes through this sign, really encourages you to explore and perfect and make an analysis of what works best for you and your body. And then on the 25th, Mercury will oppose Neptune, which is great for going to the movies, utilizing your creative process. It is a very romantic sort of view. It's when the mind is yearning for idealized situations. So you can put that time, the 25th, aside to see where your reward is for all the hard work that you have done in the previous weeks, getting yourself on track with a new system and a little bit of house cleaning, literally and figuratively, to feel that you're at your optimum. Mercury in Virgo really likes to perfect whatever its attention is on. And it has the capacity, this placement, to have a wide assortment of details in every sort of area. When I think of Virgo, I remember once I was at World Plus and I bought this little jewelry box that had like 12 different little drawers that it opened. And I just fell in love with it at sight because it was compartmentized, and it was tiny, and I could put rings in one little drawer and earrings in another little drawer and little odds and ends in a third. You know, there were so many choices and options, and it was beautifully detailed and decoration as well, hand painted from India. And as I contemplated how much I loved it, I realized that my progressed moon was in Virgo. And so say I naturally was drawn to this compartmentized, beautiful piece of functioning furniture that helped me categorize and orderly place tiny little items. That is Virgo and Mercury at its best. And this can happen on so many different levels. You decide where to put the energy. It can go from organizing your spice drawer to exploring miniature painting. On the 25th, also Mercury will trine Pluto, because Pluto has regressed back into Capricorn. So we have two earth signs, Virgo and Capricorn. This is a great day to reinforce any new habits that you have begun. Soap making is Mercury in Virgo to me. Soap making is very specific. You've got to get the timing right. You've got to get the ingredients right. A little too much of this or not the proper timing for that, it won't thicken, it won't set, it'll just be mush. So if you want to experiment, this would be a great period to try to make soap. It's actually a lot of fun. It's a lot of work, but making your own handmade soap is a great thing, and it's a great gift-giving item. I would like to caution you during this period, do not become a worrywart. Virgo worries. I didn't do that. Oh, I should have done this. Don't allow yourself to get into that trap. Perfectionism is a key word for Virgo, always striving to have everything perfect. But you know, the Japanese have a great attitude about that. They take the imperfected art piece or an art piece, jug, something you've made, pottery that broke, they make it beautiful with the part that is broken highlighted. It is the technique of wabi sabi. I just Googled it, where you find beauty in the imperfection. So I would encourage you to find beauty in the imperfections as they pop up and utilize them in ways that are unique to your vision. I can't help myself, I just have to mention it. We have the first political debate between Donald Trump and Kamala Harris on the 10th of September. This particular debate will be very interesting because both Trump and Vice President Harris's charts are favorably aspected by Mercury. Now, Mercury will be in Donald Trump's first house, right smack dab on the ascendant. So I will say he's going to have a hard time shutting up. I mean, that's probably a little bit of a no-brainer. But in fact, that Mercury will be sextiling Mars. Remember, it becomes exact on the 11th. I think it's going to be a very civil debate. I think it's going to be very useful. I think it's going to be actually somewhat exciting. It may bring a few surprises. During that debate, the moon will be in Sagittarius, and we would have just had a quarter moon, or actually the quarter moon will be applying. So things that are tied to the past, elements that are tied to the past are going to be brought up. And to quote the late Queen, some recollections may vary. We will find this in the debate in spades, I believe. Certainly with Mercury in Virgo, there will be an enormous amount of attention on finesse or the lack of And the attention to details will be very front and center. So finer points will go to those that can really dig out and bring some finesse to the finer details in this debate. It will not be without humor because the moon is in Sagittarius. So I do think that we have the capacity here to have a very lively debate which has laced through it humor, and we'll just have to wait and see. I want to leave you with one last thought with Mercury in Virgo. This is the placement that was born to serve. So service, and our service men and women, all the people that contribute to your life functioning smoothly, should be hailed this next 3-week period. Oftentimes, the little guy goes unnoticed, or little woman, you know what I mean. This would be a great time to stop and acknowledge those that help your life run smoothly. I'm Parker McPhinney. This is Stardust Stereo. Thank you for listening. I'd like to thank my patrons. You know who you are. If you'd like to become a patron, you can do so at patreon.com/ParkerMcP. And if you'd like a personal reading, my astrological website is kitchen, sorry, the word kitchen and the word sorry, SARI, like the Indian dress.com. Shoot me an email and I'll discuss my rates with you. And I want to remind you, you are made of stardust, so go shine.